Hi and welcome back to another episode of News, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, on today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at the top 10 facts about the Chernobyl disaster. Obviously, if you do not know what the Chernobyl disaster is one of the worst nuclear accidents ever to happen in the world. Happened at 26th April on 1986, ladies and gentlemen. But before going into that video, I need to give out I need to give a quick shout out to a good guy on Instagram called as chumabili.jpg or Sadiq Rasul on Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, his links are down in the description below. The first thing that I want to tell you about this guy is he makes some cool Instagram as well as some screen worthy JPEG. As you can see on the screen, you can obviously figure it out. He has a good taste in cars as well as bikes, ladies and gentlemen. But if you give him your car, he can turn it into a JPEG image like the ones that you see on the screen right now. So obviously I like his stuff, so I wanted to promote him a little bit more. Sadiq Rasul, if you're watching this, do one for me too, bro. I already messaged you, so that's what I wanted to do today. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back. Top 10 things you didn't know about the Chernobyl incident. Well, before that, let's roll the intro, shall we?
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, back on this thing. So, first and foremost, this video is uploaded to YouTube on April 1st of 2022 and it is by watchmojo.com. Obviously, if you have not yet seen this video yet, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. The link is down in the description below, as below the like button as usual. As also, it will appear on the screen right now. You can see it. Let's get started, shall we? 30 years after the incident, increased to up to 1.5 more times. 70% of the area is forest. Chernobyl disaster. Obviously, if I'm cutting it too many times, I'm really sorry. But I want to tell you this because I was actually very fascinated about the Chernobyl incident, and I wanted to learn more about the Chernobyl incident and how it happened. But unfortunately, all I could gather from the news outlets as well as the magazines was it happened due to a bad flaw in the system of the nuclear 4 reactor, right? Yes, that's what I have learned. So, what are the new things they're gonna teach me? Let's see. They have nice cars. Yes, obviously they have also made an entire movie dedicated to the Chernobyl incident. I think it is available on Netflix or something like that. Let's see. Yeah, I heard about this. Yeah, that is what I was want to learn. Fair. This is what also happened with the Titanic, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, if you've not yet seen how the Titanic sank, this is the same story, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I'll make a dedicated video about that in a future reaction video. If you do want to see it, make sure this video gets at least 15 likes so that I can make that video for you guys. Who? What?
Same reason our reactors do not have containment buildings around them, like those in the West.
Had Chernobyl had a containment building, it may have reduced the amount of nuclear fallout that spread out into the environment.
It's cheaper.
Number 9.
Cheaper.
The Soviet Union attempted a cover-up. The Soviet Union was extremely concerned with its reputation, and censorship was the norm. As such, the government didn't want anyone to know their state-of-the-art nuclear reactor had just exploded.
I'm pleased too. That obviously will happen, ladies and gentlemen, in every part of the country. when there is a nuclear disaster happening, the first thing that the politicians do is try to avoid it from the people, because people should not get panic attacks. But loss is a loss, ladies and gentlemen. There were so many losses in that accident. They could have taken good care of it. And, till today also, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many people that are still affected. Even the generations of the people that are still affected by the Chernobyl incident, ladies and gentlemen. Even check for example river monsters, right? If you have watched that episode, you might know it. There is actually single catfish on the sea, near where the reactor is on the Chernobyl site. It seems that it has the highest ever radiation possible. I don't think there is actually a video to YouTube on that, ladies and gentlemen. Just check it out if you do want to see more of that.
Report that the situation in Chernobyl is stable.
In the immediate aftermath of the disaster, officials were reluctant to take responsibility and played down the damage.
They gave us the number they had. I think the true number is much, much higher.
The city of Pripyat wasn't evacuated until 36 hours after the initial blast.
36 hours after the initial blast? Are you mad, man? This is what I don't like about politics as well as the government, ladies and gentlemen. It's a national crisis, ladies and gentlemen. A nuclear reaction happened, if there is some kind of, plague or something like, take COVID for example, right? If there is something like that, okay, people should not get worried for the first 36 hours because there are so many things going on. But there is a nuclear accident that has happened and they are not yet told to the people for 36 hours, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty wrong for me.
The Soviet Union didn't even alert nearby countries. In fact, It was Sweden that broke the story when their air monitors detected radiation in the atmosphere.
Thank you, Sweden.
The release of radiation will be severe and will impact all of Soviet Ukraine, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarusia.
It would be years until the full extent of the disaster was revealed. Number 8. The cleanup was deadlier than the explosion. Only 2 plant operators were killed in the initial blast. Several others perished from acute radiation sickness, but most of the deaths attributed to Chernobyl came from the cleanup efforts.
What are you doing?
These are radiation burns. Their clothes are contaminated. Help me!
Of the 31 deaths that the Soviet Union attributed to the disaster, many were first responders battling the resulting fire. And this number is likely to grow.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I highly respect, hats off salute to the firemen who risked their life to save millions of people from the reactor, Hats off, ladies and gentlemen.
The Soviet Union employed 600,000 people in the extensive liquidation effort. It's projected that 4,000 of these liquidators will die prematurely due to the disaster. Number 7. The death toll is unknown.
Yeah, that is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. The death toll of the Chernobyl accident is actually unknown till date right now, ladies and gentlemen, because so many people have been affected and, their deaths were like this.
What do you think makes the colours?
It's the fuel for sure.
And also they have been exposed to the radiation for the 36 hours without their knowledge. So,
fortunately, the death toll of the Chernobyl disaster is impossible to know for sure. The Soviet Union claimed that 31 people died from blast trauma and acute radiation syndrome.
Oh, it is beautiful.
In subsequent decades, radiation-induced cancer may have killed roughly the same number again. However, there is considerable debate over how many people will die prematurely in coming years. Predictions range from 4,000 in former Soviet states to up to 16,000 for the whole of Europe. It's difficult to know how many cancer deaths, past and future, could be pinned on Chernobyl. Number 6. The clothing in Pripyat Hospital. The basement of Pripyat Hospital is a place ripped straight from a nightmare. Radiation sickness quickly hit the plant personnel and first responders. They began vomiting and collapsing at the site, and all were rushed to the nearby Pripyat Hospital.
Get it all off.
okay, the Pripyat hospital was the hospital that was nearby the nuclear reactor, and that is where most of the patients were admitted. Okay. Nice to know.
We're taking it down to the basement.
Over 100 people were admitted to the hospital by 10 a.m., and all of their clothing was ripped off and thrown into the basement. While the critically ill patients were transferred to a better hospital in Moscow, their clothing remained behind. It all lies there to this day, festering in the dark basement and continuing to emit dangerously high levels of radiation.
Yeah, that's true, ladies.
Number 5, the Red Forest. Even the trees weren't immune to the Chernobyl disaster. Immediately following the accident, extremely dangerous clouds of dust and radiation were carried by the winds and spread over a nearby forest. The radiation was absorbed by the pine trees, turning them a distinct ginger-brown color. This, in turn, resulted in the name the Red Forest. Everything inside the zone was dead, and the trees needed to go. Liquidators worked tirelessly to raise the forest and bury all the dead trees under a thick layer of soil. Despite their efforts, the Red Forest remains one of the most radioactive places in the world, with 90% of its radiation found in the soil. Number 4, the elephant's foot. Found just a few dozen feet.
So basically, if you do not know what is the elephant's foot, ladies and gentlemen, that is actually where the radiation happened. And due to the heavy radiation, there was a lot of melted steel that was flown right from the top of the building to the ground, and they kind of stagnated at the end. And that, when you see it till now, it looks like an elephant's foot. That's the meaning of it.
From the destroyed reactor is a hellish object known as the elephant's foot. It's a giant
you can still find it today if you are able to visit Chernobyl.
Blob of corium that resembles an elephant's foot owing to its bulky and wrinkly appearance. Corium is an extremely dangerous lava-like material created during a nuclear meltdown. This particular blob was made in the reactor and eventually burned through the reinforced concrete. It then traveled through cracks and pipes before coming to rest at its current location. At the time of its discovery, the elephant's foot was emitting enough radiation to deliver a lethal dose in just 5 minutes.
Wow.
Number 3, the sarcophagus is collapsing.
What?
Immediately following the disaster, a sarcophagus was built and placed over the destroyed reactor.
Yeah, I heard about this, ladies and gentlemen. They actually tried to contain, the building, straight up another building covering the reactor that had burst. But due to the high levels of radiation, within probably like 3 or 4 minutes, the entire steel structure started melting down. Steel structure, ladies and gentlemen, that was built over to cover this the nuclear burnt reactor. They just started like that, ladies and gentlemen. Even today, they're trying their hardest to build another. And also, as of right now, 2016 or 17, I'm not sure about the years, they tried to build another one, and that has also collapsed, ladies and gentlemen. They tried to build it with the new age material. Still, due to the heavy radiations, it has been done.
Contain the radiation. It was built as quickly as possible. Construction began 2 months after the disaster, and it was fully completed in just 5 months. By November 1986, the exposed reactor was fully enclosed within. Unfortunately, it is now at a very high risk of collapse. Thankfully, the sarcophagus itself is entombed within the new safe confinement, which was built to last for the next century. The collapsing sarcophagus is currently being dismantled inside the new safe confinement, and the project is scheduled to conclude in 2023. Number 2, it was a boon for wildlife.
I told you,
with Pripyat left abandoned, the city and the surrounding area has become inundated with wildlife.
Wow.
In fact, the wild boar...
Yeah, I heard about this also, ladies and gentlemen. There were also all sorts of cross-species animals that were, affected during the nuclear burst, ladies and gentlemen.
Population increased eightfold just 2 years after the disaster. The Chernobyl exclusion zone is now the 3rd largest nature reserve in mainland Europe. It's home to a wide variety of animals.
Sergei Kaskag International Radio Ecology Laboratory,
Animals, including deer, eagles, wolves, and even bison. And they are doing just fine.
If we talk about
not bad, ladies and gentlemen, they were adapted to the situation.
large mammals like carnivores and ungulates, it's really good habitat.
The reasons are simple. Animals have different radiologic tolerances to humans. They aren't being hunted there, and most of the surrounding radioactivity has decayed. One man's trash is another man's treasure, we suppose.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to
the Sunil Show, ladies and gentlemen. Link is down in the description.
notified for occasional notifications.
Also, turn on your post notifications.
Animals may be doing great around Chernobyl, but
the future is uncertain. Basically, I'll tell you the entire part of this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's switch it back. So, the future is uncertain, right? So, basically, as of right now, the last, probably like 2016 or 15, let's take around the ballpark of the last 5 years before the COVID started, right? There are actually so many other enthusiasts who wanted to go into the Chernobyl factory. Even the Top Gear, Top Gear even made an episode of running out of fuel in the Chernobyl area. And obviously, when they arrived at checkpoint, excuse me, guys, there were so many people that told that Chernobyl will not be will not be capable of holding people, like a normal country for the next 22 to 25,000 years, ladies and gentlemen. Let me rewind that up. 22 to 25,000 years, ladies and gentlemen. That's a huge long time. Probably like a 60 generations next. And also, if do people come after 22 to 25,000 years, probably they are not gonna get, straight into it, and they're not gonna live happily. There are gonna be still radiation effects for their future generations also, like malnourished children or paralytic children, something like that. A lot of medical complications are there. So that is why Chernobyl is considered to be one of the world's worst accidents, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, there are so many other facts also about the Chernobyl incident. If you do want to see it more, obviously there's a documentary regarding it. I don't know if it is available on Netflix, on Prime, or other OTP channels. But if you do want to see more of the facts on the Chernobyl part 2, ladies and gentlemen, please post down in the comment section below. Just like I want to see top 10 facts about the Chernobyl part 2, ladies and gentlemen. And also, thank you so much for all of you for watching my last video. I got some incredibly high views, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for all your love and support. As usual, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you give this video also the same love and support. You might be wondering why there are no vlogs. The vlogs content is very slow. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have been not uploading more consistent as of the older times, because what, I thought that my people, the people that you're watching right now, right, need good content. So that's why I slowed it down, and I thought of doing some more good stuff on the internet, teaching people how to do it, telling them interesting facts, as well as knowledging them, as well as information, ladies and gentlemen. Information is knowledge. So that's why I have to do research, I have to make a video for that, and then I have to publish it. So that's why it's taking long time. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, always remember, this channel is always about quality or quantity, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thank you so much for tuning into another beautiful reaction video. Hope you like this video, ladies and gentlemen. If so, you know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notification, hit the like button, share it to your friends, and I'll see you on the next episode of BUISNESS, ladies and gentlemen. Take care. Peace.